and National Health Service, they've gone and said, look here, I'm working close with COVID people, and they'll say, are you showing symptoms? No, sorry, you can't be tested.
Excuse me, Brent, Jonathan, we're live on Facebook.
Okay, shutting off.
And Brent, I'm going to start recording, and now if you're ready to take over after I start the recording. Yes?
Sure, okay.
Okay, coming up, you'll know when we're recording.
Okay.
Because there you go.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thanks for that, Mark, and hi to everybody. Everybody here, good to see you all, and anybody listening on Facebook Live and listening later on. It's always good to rendezvous. So, yeah, I was here last week talking about a book by Michael J. Losier called Law of Attraction, the Science of Getting More of What You Want and Less of What You Don't. So we managed to talk a little bit about the background of the book and about the history of law of attraction and things like that. Now, the first part of the book is talking about what he calls non-deliberate attraction, and then he moves on to talk about deliberate attraction. So that means choosing what you attract, how you attract it, and going through the process of getting it right. So that's why he calls the book the science of getting more of what you want and less of what you don't. You're never going to get all that you want, and you're never going to miss out on absolutely everything you don't want. But the whole idea is to get more of what you want and less of what you don't want. So just to recap, and we'll do a bit of a screen share here. His definition of law of attraction is this one: I attract to my life whatever I give my attention, energy, and focus to, whether positive or negative. So the main point here is that law of attraction is working all the time, a bit like the law of gravity. It's not going to stop just because you don't focus on it, or you're not aware of it or whatever. It's going to go on all the time. So it's attracting things to your life, whether you do it, whether you know or not, and it's positive or negative. And of course, what you want to do is you want to swing away from the negative and go to the positive as much as possible. So, yeah, just have so many buttons to click here. Here's the next quote. We talked about this last week. The law of attraction responds to whatever vibration you are sending by giving you more of it. Whether it's positive or negative, it simply responds to your vibration. So this is the next important point here, is that it's only responding to what your vibration is. And then he goes on to what he calls here the, look, I'll just see if I can make this a bit bigger. It might be a bit harder to see. The observational cycle of non-deliberate attraction. In step one, or the first part, you observe what you receive and have in your life, whether positive or negative. Number two, while observing, you're sending a vibration, either positive or negative or positive, he says. Number three, the law of attraction responds to the vibration that you are sending. And number four, as a result, you get more of what you were vibrating, whether positive or negative. And then we go back to number one, you observe what you receive and have in your life. And that'll go around and around. Now, when it's non-deliberate, it's either positive or negative, and you're not really in control of what you're getting. So it can be going up, can be a good spiral, can be what we call a virtuous circle, or it can be going down, or what's called a vicious circle, going down and down and down. So Abraham Hicks will tell us the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. And that's a virtuous cycle. But of course, the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. That's a vicious cycle. So we want to be able to choose consciously. We want to be able to say, this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. So I'm going to focus on what I want. Okay, so I think that's pretty clear. Or most people who look at law of attraction probably come across this in some form or another. So whatever it is, whatever you're focusing on in your life, law of attraction is going to give you more. So when you find something negative, look, I'll just get all the buttons going again. Great. So when you find something negative, you're going to make a statement containing the words don't, not, or no. And you're actually giving your attention and energy to what you don't want. So in this case, you simply ask yourself, what do you want? So if you say, my boss at work is giving me a hard time, I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to work with that person, or whatever it is, you're actually just feeding that. You're actually just giving your attention and your energy to it. And law of attraction saying, well, that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're going to get in your life. But the crucial step here is that when you see something that you don't want, rather than activating this negative energy, you say, well, what do you want? So if your boss is giving you a hard time, or you're having trouble at work, and you say, I don't like working in this situation, say to yourself, well, what do you like? What sort of work environment do you like? You say, oh, I like a happy, harmonious, cooperative work environment. I like getting along with my co-workers, or my superiors, or whatever it is. And then you start to focus on that, and you start to bring more of that into your life. Okay. Now, I saw an interesting quote, interesting meme, I think on Abraham Fun just a few days ago. Somebody posted something saying, a quote from Abraham Hicks saying, your attention to it is your invitation of it. So when you give your attention to something, you are actually inviting it into your life. So your attention to it is your invitation of it. So there's of course, negative things are going to catch your attention. You're going to be sort of not focusing on. They're going to catch your attention because they are negative, or they are dramatic, or they are noteworthy in some ways, or attention grabbing. But the step that Michael J. Losier is saying here is that when you see that contrast, then you shift. You say, well, I don't want that. Then you shift to what you do want. Now, he gives the example of if you were driving in your car with your friend, and your friend turned on the radio and set it to some station that you don't like, maybe, heavy metal or something like death thrash metal or something that you don't like, then you wouldn't put up with it for too long. You say, well, this is my car, I'm going to change that station. Or if you at a party or something, or a dinner, and you put something in your mouth that you didn't like, didn't appeal to you, didn't taste nice, you probably might, you wouldn't spit it out if you're at a party, but you wouldn't eat it very long. You wouldn't go back for seconds by any means. So there are certain things we see where we have contrast, and we switch, we flip pretty quickly. We go from what we don't want to what we do want. You don't like hot, spicy food, at a buffet or smorgasbord or something. Well, you don't like that one. Go to the sushi rolls or something like that, something that you do like. and you do that pretty quickly. So whatever it is, you've got to see the contrast and switch your focus pretty quickly, because you can't focus on two things at one time. If you have a strong desire and then you have a lot of doubts or a lot of negative opinions about that, then you're going to have what Abraham Hicks calls split energy. You're going to be saying, I want this, but there's these reasons I can't have that. And you're going to be sort of stuck. You're going to be spinning your wheels in a lot of ways. So you can only really send out one vibration at a time. So if you say, I don't want this, but I do want that, then you start to focus on what you do want. And that's how you start to manifest it in your life. So it's really a matter of what they call resetting your vibration. So you choose better thoughts, you use better words, and you start to focus on what you want in your life rather than what you don't want. So a lot of people are confused. They're not sure. Well, have I got split energy? Am I focusing on what I want, or am I not? And the simple way to find out is this: to know whether you are sending out a positive or negative vibration. Simply take a look at the results you're getting in that area of your life. They are a perfect reflection of what you are vibrating. So if you're having trouble in your work or with your money or in your love life or health or whatever it is, have a look at what the results you're getting. What are you getting in your life? And that shows you what vibration you're sending out. So if somebody is, somebody cuts you off on traffic at the, on the road, or if somebody's rude to you, or you have some disagreement or whatever, really what they're doing is they're just showing you. They're just showing you what your vibration is in that area. And the best thing to do in that case is to say, well, thanks for the update, but I like happy, harmonious relationships. I like courteous drivers. I like to be in a joyful, productive, cooperative workspace. So that's the situation that you're in, or the results that you are getting, are always a perfect reflection of what you're vibrating at that time.
Brent,
yep, go ahead.
I don't want to spoil your flow because it is good, but I just want to put this input. The want, don't want. Don't fall into the trap of saying, I know what I want. I don't want this. Because the this, whatever it is, let's say, I'm not going to go deep, but I don't want attracts it. So you say, I know what I want, I don't want. You will still attract that don't want. And that is Abraham 101 for a start. I'll let you continue, Brent. I just had to get that out. And hopefully anybody who's watching on Facebook Live as well. I'm shutting up now, but I wanted to get that.
Great. Yep. Yeah, thanks for that, Jonathan. I did brush over that a little bit because we're just recapping really, but that's exactly right. When I say, well, there's an example in the book, Michael J. Losier book. If I say to you, don't think of the Statue of Liberty, immediately that image will come to your mind, even though I've said don't think of it. Or if you don't think of a snowstorm, don't think of an elephant, then those things will come straight away, because the mind, especially the subconscious mind, doesn't differentiate. Whatever you're giving your attention to is what it focuses on. And same with law of attraction. If you're going around saying, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, then you're really just activating that vibration, activating that energy. And so your attention to it is the invitation of it. So that comes back to the point that he was making before. You can't get away from contrast, but how long are you going to focus on something that you don't like eating? How long are you going to eat it, have something in your mouth that you don't like? You know, how long are you going to listen to music you don't like? How long are you going to wear clothes that you don't like? People will see the contrast and they'll move pretty quickly. But when it comes to things like career, relationships, or financial situation, people will put up with contrast for a lot longer than is really necessary. So yeah, that's a very good point, very important point. You want to be careful that you're not activating something without awareness. So this is the whole point of this book. I think it's having awareness about what you're creating, what you're activating, the vibration you're giving out, and what you're attracting to yourself. He talks about what he calls non-deliberate action. Sorry, which is an unconscious thing. And then he talks about what's called deliberate attraction. He has a 3-step formula. And here, step 1 is to identify your desire. He says, sounds easy, right? Most people are not very good at knowing what they do want. However, they are very good at identifying what they don't want. In this step, you'll learn why knowing what you don't like is helpful. Okay, so getting back to what Jonathan was saying, yeah, you want to be careful that you don't fixate on the don'ts, the not, or the no. You want to look at that. It's a helpful step because it gives you contrast. It gives you that point to flip, to identify what you do want. Because most, as it says here, most people aren't really very clear on what they do want. You know, they might say, you know, I want more money, but they don't know how that would play out. You know, how would you want more money? In what way? Would it be, you know, stocks and shares? Would it be, you know, a passive income? Would it be more work, more hours at work, or, you know, would it be a bonus or a raise or whatever it is? So there are many ways to get more money, but just to say I want more money is not really very clear. And so when you're not clear, it's very hard to create that. It's very hard to attract that. Now, identifying your desire, getting clarity is step 1. Here, step 2 is give your desire attention. The law of attraction will give you more of what you give your attention, energy, and focus to. This step will teach you how to do just that, simply by learning how to choose your words. So a very big thing in this book is to choose your words correctly. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And step 3 here is allow it. So wondering why you're not manifesting your desires, the speed at which your desires come to you depends on how much you're allowing. This is the most important step. It's the most important step, but also probably one of the least understood. Abraham Hicks talks about the art of allowing. So it's an art, it's a skill. It's not something that you just fall into naturally. Naturally, people will their default position will be non-deliberate attraction. And naturally, or, you know, very commonly, let's say, it's a very common thing that people focus on the negative and they allow resistance. They pinch themselves off from the flow of well-being. So here are the 3 steps. We talked about 1 last week and a little bit about 2, but we'll go over this again. We'll do a bit of a recap. So any question before I move on? Any questions so far? I mean, I suppose there must be. Anybody, any comment or anything that somebody had there? No, we're all okay. Yep. Okay. Well, let's move on. So the next thing next important thing here is in the book, in Michael J. Losier's book, it's what's called clarity through contrast. Now, come on, buttons up. Here, the buttons are working. Okay, great. Okay, so he has this process. He has this tool called a clarity through contrast worksheet. And we've got an example here of a woman called Janice. And so Janice her situation is that she's unhappy with her relationship. She's always attracting men who don't make her feel special or don't give her what she needs, who don't provide the emotional support that she wants. So she's got a very clear view of what she doesn't like. Now here you can see here on her side A, her contrast things that she doesn't like. She doesn't like people who are controlling, poor listener, not affectionate, doesn't care about what I think or how I feel, not outgoing, doesn't like traveling, always rushes me, makes decisions without me, doesn't like movies or dancing. Now that's just a short list. Okay, she actually has a much longer list. Apparently it was like 100 items, but these are some of the big ones. These are some of the main ones. Okay, and it's not uncommon. A lot of people can identify with this list, I'm sure. A lot of women, especially, those are the things that are important for them. Men as well, but probably their list would be in a different order. So what she does is, from this list of things that she doesn't like, she asks herself, so what do I want? What does she like? So controlling becomes flexible and well-balanced. Poor listener, have great listening skills. Not affectionate, affectionate and sensitive. And we go down the list, and all the things that she didn't like have an opposite. They have another end of the stick. The stick has two ends, of course, and which one are you going to focus on? Which end of the stick are you going to grab? So she's been saying, well, I don't want people who are controlling, and she's been activating that vibration in her life, when really, so she's grabbing the wrong end of the stick. So she should be grabbing the other end of the stick, where she's saying, well, I like people who are flexible and well-balanced. I like people who have great listening skills. And when she starts to activate that, then law of attraction is going to give her more and more of that. So you can do this activity, you can do this clarity through contrast worksheet with anything that is an issue in your life. So that was just relationships. It can be money, it can be health, it can be work, career, education, anything you want to talk about. You move from, instead of grabbing the wrong end of the stick, you focus, you change your attention, you change your words, and you grab the other end of the stick. Okay, so that's really the number one first step. Identify your desire. And how do you do that? You look at the contrast, you look at what you don't want, and ask yourself, what do I want? Okay, so I'll just stop again. Any point to any questions, any thoughts that come to mind for anybody? No, it's all it's all good. Well, I'm either I'm explaining it well, or everybody's very up to speed on it. A very good audience. Okay, so just again, just to recap.
Just very
Sorry,
quick.
yeah, Jonathan, you got a point?
Is Michael Losier given any credit to Abraham and Hicks in this book, because it is a lot of it is so very Abraham.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm just recapping. I'm just doing a brief. I'm skimming through, but like I was saying last week, he does acknowledge that his work is based on Abraham Hicks. Yes, very much so. But he also talks about other authors, Ernest Holmes and William Atkinson, I think it is, and a woman, somebody, Marianne Proctor or somebody like that. Look, there are a lot of authors there, and he's been pulling things from different places, but the core of it is very much in line with the Abraham Hicks material and law of attraction as they teach it or as they explain it, and especially this idea of contrast. He actually has a little footnote in the book that says, you know, this concept of contrast comes directly from Abraham Hicks. So just to recap again, I mean, I've discovered, or I've realized over many years, nobody learns in a straight line. Nobody goes from here to there in a straight line. It's always circling around until you get a much stronger grasp on it. So the main points here is that words are really important. They generate a vibration. It's whether it's positive or negative. So you've got to be so careful with your words. When you use words like don't, not, or no, you're really giving your attention to the things that you don't want. So, you know, you've got to be careful when you hear yourself using those words. That's the time that the warning bells should flash or the light should come on, and you say, well, what do I want? Okay, so this is a bit of a mental hygiene, I suppose. It's a kind of a good habit to get into. Is that when you hear yourself saying, I don't like that, or, you know, I'm not going to do that, or, you know, there's no way, or whatever it is, then you've got to say, well, what do I want? And let those things drop. Let the don'ts, the nots, and the no's, let all those things drop, and then grasp what you do want. So when you change your words, when you start to deliberately, consciously change your words, then you change your vibration and you change what you're attracting. Because the main point is you can only send out one vibration at a time. So it doesn't matter if you're saying, I don't want this, I'm not going to do that, there's no way I'll do that. You're sending out that vibration. So choose your words carefully and send out the right vibration. You don't have to get too worked up and say, well, I don't want contrast in my life, because contrast is very, very useful. So you're never going to get rid of contrast. As Abraham Hicks says, you never get it wrong and you never get it done. So it doesn't matter what's there, it's all working. Everything's working out for you. The system is working properly. Okay, contrast is there for a reason. Yep.
Brent, I do have a comment. It's just, I don't want to throw any thing into anything, any kind of, whatever you call that screw into the whatever thing. But it's just, I'm just going to verbalize with some thoughts going through my brain. And they're new thoughts, so it's not something that is a thought or a word that is sent perhaps can't even have a negative or a positiveness to it. And I don't want to debate, but I'm just saying, thoughts going through my brain. Because a word that's transmitted from you to, say you just say a word, that, or a phrase even, that phrase, it's by itself may not necessarily have a negative or a positive anything to it. It seems to me like the negative or positiveness of anything is the receiver. I'm just playing around, just throwing out some stuff. It's interesting. This is all new, and I just want to throw it out there because sometimes I'll say a word or a phrase that feels a certain way, and then Karen will hear it and receive it in a slightly different way. It all depends on where the receiver is at the moment. Somebody could yell. Okay, we have next door neighbors. There's an 11 or 8 or whatever, a young 11-year-old kid that got himself a drum set. Pretty cool. We have a neighbor on one side of our house, basically. The other side is a big old nice field, and the back is a pond. And on one side, we have a house next to us, and the kid got a drum set. Now, when Karen heard the drums being played, and she said, "Wow, there's drums being played," and they're really nice about it. But she was very impressed with. She thought it had to be an adult. The guy must have been playing the drums. So she was impressed. I don't know if she was pleased, but she was impressed. She was just not bothered. But whatever. Just she had a certain thing about that event, and there was this drum noise coming from their house. And it's not that it's anyway. So when I heard about the fact that somebody next door was playing the drums, I got all excited, and we went and talked to the mom who had the kid there a few days ago, and we said, "Wow, well, who got the drum?" I said, "Who's got the drums?" And it was a little 11-year-old boy that had the drums, and we both said, "Wow, he sounds really good. He's really good at the drums." And I said to them, for me, I'd never played the drums, no instrument, but my father and my brother played the drums, and they're both gone. They're both transitioned many years ago. But my brother and my dad played the drums. The drums was a big part of their lives. My brother's life, especially. My dad, just a bit. But they played they played the drums in bands and things. So whenever I heard the drums, it was really something that I didn't want to stop, because it brought me back some warm memories of my brother and my dad. So it's just drum noise that was sent out. And I don't know if it was positive or negative. The kid might have thought he was doing a good job, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. But Karen and I, people receive things. So I don't know. This is an illustration. Just some thoughts that I had when I hear about a positive thought being sent out, or a positive word being sent out, or a negative word being sent out. And maybe I don't know. I'm just asking. It's all new to me. Maybe when we hear, that's where the negative or the positive part comes in. When we say a word, maybe we hear ourselves say that word, and then that's where the negative comes in. It's not important. I just needed to verbalize some general thoughts that I had. Anybody else?
Before Brent carries on, and this, I'm sorry, Karen, I've just got to get it out because we know all this analogy and everything. How many of us as Abers, if it was just the drums going, we automatically think the drums of want and don't want. The drums are resistance. I want this, but I don't know how it's going to come. Everything's going in the wrong way. It cannot come. So on and so forth. I could go into a little rant on that from all the workshops I have heard when Abraham has said about the drums of wanting, and then the drums of resistance. Anybody in the group who knows about Abraham will know what I'm on about. If you don't, you're welcome to send a private message and ask me.
And I'm curious, Karen, what did you have to say about that?
Just alluding to Jonathan's comment there, beating the drum. I don't think that Abraham has really used that analogy so much in recent months and years, but it used to be, they would, don't beat the drum of what you don't want. In other words, don't talk about it, don't think about it, just what Brent was saying. Just don't give airspace to it. Don't focus on it. And so that so often they would say, don't beat the drum of it. And so that sort of became a little bit of a warning, the drum analogy for Abraham. And then to your point, Mark, I think that's like a really good point. Like to me, it doesn't, things like that don't bother me. And I was curious about it and all, but so it just kind of gave me a bit of a neutral or a little bit better than neutral response, I guess. Whereas you, because of your, the connotation you have with drumming, it was really nice. So, I mean, that's an example. Or to some people who just hate noise from neighbors in any way, shape, or form, that could have been contrast. So it really is how we perceive it. It's all it's all about, just how we look at it. But in that case, that was really a nice experience. And then finding out that it was the little boy himself, who was actually only 8, he said. The mom said. But I just want to say one other quick thing about that. It brought to mind, as we're talking about what we send out. And what I learned from Abraham is to care less and less about how somebody is interpreting that. Excuse me. I want to send out stuff that feels good, send out stuff that, just thoughts, feelings, appreciation, all of that. My job is to send that out. And how people interpret it, other people interpret it, is their business. And like that little boy, when he plays the drums, obviously he's really having a good time. He's so tickled with himself, and he is so good. And he's having a really good time. And so his job, I mean, if you were to look at this from an Abraham perspective and a Michael Losier perspective, would be not to worry much about what, somebody else is going to interpret that as. I mean, they'll let him know if he's being, and the mom said to us, oh, is it too loud? Is it bothering you? And, you find these things out. But the thing that is so important is, what am I sending out? What am I sending out? What am I sending out? And what I'm getting back will tell me what I'm sending out. But if I start worrying about what I'm going to get back, that's counterproductive. So I want to send out what feels good. And that really is the essence of this work. Send out thoughts and words that are uplifting and feel good. I am complete.
Before we go on
Brent,
very quickly, sorry, for anybody who may be watching this, I know I've got a very vocal neck and very vocal hands. It just means, whilst I'm on mute, I know where someone is coming from. Okay? I'll leave it at that.
And Brent, I don't want to tie one hand behind your back or have anything. I mean, don't let what I said change any of the words that you're teaching us with. It's just, I wanted to just share my thoughts. And we'll know that when you say send out a positive thought on a positive word, then that's fine. Just do that, because I don't want to have you have to think about, is it really we're listening or sending it out? I just thank you for allowing me to just share my thoughts floating around inside of my head. So, but don't let it affect any way that you explain it, but just what Michael Losier was saying. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. I think that all those are really, really good points. It reminds me of a quote. I don't know, on the internet. One guy said, "Look, last night the neighbor from across the hall came and knocked on my door at 2:30 in the morning. Can you believe it? At 2:30 in the morning, he knocked on my door. But lucky for him, I was still playing my bagpipes." So, look, it depends. The guy playing his bagpipes was obviously having fun, but for the guy at 2:30 in the morning across the hall, he wouldn't have thought that was so great. And there's another quote. There's a quote by Shakespeare, which I might get a little bit wrong. He says, "Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Somebody could look up the quote exactly what it is, but yeah, things are not what we label as good and what we label as bad is only that because we think it's good or think it's bad. Abraham Hicks is going to tell us that if we see things through the eyes of source, we will never judge it. Won't make any judgments about it, and that goes against our upbringing or our social conditioning so much, because we from a very, very early age we're taught right and wrong and good and bad, and crime and punishment. And to hear somebody saying, it's all good, it's all well, there's only a constant source of well-being, to us it sounds counterintuitive. But that's what the point of this book, and that's what the point of the law of attraction work is that we have to change our thinking. And that's, as Karen was talking about, that's the work. The work is not working on the things out there, not working on the world outside. If you think you're going to solve all the problems, if you think you're going to be happy, you're going to get satisfaction by changing the world, then the analogy is it's like having a bad hair day and then trying to comb the mirror to fix your hair. It's not going to happen. You do your work yourself, you do the internal work, and that's how you do it. It's not that you go out and you effort. You do all the efforting to change the world to just the way you like it. You change yourself inside, and a lot of people say, well, that's not work, I'm not doing anything, but you're actually doing something internally. Now, with little kids like this, people, I'm sure, if after not this one, not Philippa, but after my first daughter was born, in the hospital, she was not constipated, but she wasn't having a bowel motion, and she was distressed and she was crying and carrying on, and the doctors were coming in and well, we might have to do this, we might have to do that, and we were, it was a bit hard for my wife and for us, but after a while, then finally it came out. If you ever seen it's green, smelly, it's not nice. But at that stage, we say, "Wow, fantastic!" So it gave me I thought of a good phrase for that. It's celebrating the poo. Most people don't like the diapers, changing the nappy, as we say here, changing a little baby. But if you're in the situation where the child is distressed and constipated or whatever, and then finally it happens, you say, wow, great, that's fantastic, wow, look at that great poo. So it depends on your viewpoint of it and how you're looking at it, whether it's good or bad. So it's, the thing is just the thing. So what you say about it, how you label it, is your predilection, let's say. And I don't want to say prejudice, but it's your choice. And the thing is, you can choose better words, you can choose better thoughts, and that's what this work is all about: choosing the better feeling thought. It doesn't feel good to get all worked up and label things as bad and wrong. It feels good to label things as positive or helpful, and to see the positive side of things. We, as we've said before, you don't need to wallow in the contrast. You don't need to fixate on it. You just need to see it and say, no, I'm not. I don't want that. I don't like that. What I do like is this, and start to move towards that. We'll just move on to the next point. The book is talking about and that one is give your desire attention. So when you've identified what you want, when you've got clarity about your desire, then you need to give it some positive attention. Okay, make sure it's in your current vibration, activated in your current vibration. So Michael J. Losier is talking about what he calls the vibrational bubble. So there's a bit of confusion about this last time, but it's not a very good illustration, but he's talking about what do you include in your vibrational bubble. Now, people were asking before, is this the vortex? And no, it's not the vortex. The vortex is more of a non-physical, well, it's physical, it's an energetic potentiality. It's out there. It's what you can do. It's all the things that are that you've called in. The contrast has caused you to ask, and you're calling it to you. Okay, and many people will say, well, how do I get the money out of my vortex and into my bank account? And so it's really a matter of changing your vibration, getting up to speed, getting up to the same vibration as that money. Okay, whatever you want. Now, this concept that Michael J. Losier is talking about, vibrational bubble, is more just what you've got going at the moment. Okay, it's not the potentiality that's out there. It's just what's in your bubble. It's very much like what people will call the aura. Now, I'm sure, I'm putting words into his mouth in a way. I'm not. He doesn't say this, but people will have an energy aura around them, and that's the consisting of the thoughts and the vibrations that they habitually activate, and that's in their energy field in a lot of ways. So that's probably a better way to think about it. It's there, and it's like a barometer or a some sort of gauge. This is where you are at the moment. Okay, and the good thing about this is that you can choose what you want to include in your vibrational bubble. Okay, you choose it by choosing better feeling thoughts, by using better feeling words, or more appropriate words, more constructive words that are in line with what you want. And you choose what's in there by your conscious attention, what you pay attention to consciously. Now, if you talk of, if you say, well, what's in there and what's not in there? So if you're talking about what you want, if you're noticing something, if you're daydreaming, if you're visualizing, if you're pretending, if you say yes to something, if you say no to something, if you worry about something, if you complain about something, if you remember something positive or remember something negative, if you observe something positive or observe something negative, whatever it is, it's all in your vibrational bubble. Whatever you focus on, whatever you give your attention to or your energy to, that's included in your vibrational bubble. That's there. So the point that he's making here is that we've got to be very careful about how we choose our words and what we give our focus to and what we give our attention to. Now, some people will say, well, let's use affirmations. And affirmations can be a double-edged sword. It's a bit like, I don't know if you've seen the video, the Abraham Hicks videos where Esther's going through a list of cards, of affirmation cards, and she's saying, well, yeah, when you're in the zone, when you're in the vortex, these work really well. But when you're not in the vortex, they won't work. They'll have the opposite effect. They will move move you away from what you want. So it's a matter of, as Abraham Hicks says all the time, get into the vortex first and then have inspired action. Don't do action first and think you'll get into the vortex. Get into the vortex, get into the zone, and then take the action. Now, that's the question, begs the question of how do I get into the vortex? You do that by choosing the better feeling thought. You do that by feeling, by choosing, well, this is what I want. This is what I choose, and that will help you raise your vibration, step up, and you'll step up in your feelings, your emotions. So you choose your thought, and that causes you to have a better feeling emotion, and that causes you to move up. So there's the vibrational, the emotional guidance scale. So you can tell where you're at, you know, by where you sit on that scale. And if you're, you know, if you're in anger, then you can, or a blame, then you can say, well, I want to move to revenge, let's say, because it's higher on the scale. And even though revenge is not a very positive thing, at least it's better than feeling like a victim or feeling blame, asserting blame on people. So it's the same thing with affirmations. They will work if you're in the zone, if you're in the vortex, but if not, then you have to start to move towards where you want to be. So I'll just share the next one. Yeah, this one here, something that maybe many people can identify with. If you have an affirmation saying, I have a happy, slender body, and you don't have a happy, slender body, then basically that kind of affirmation is not going to help you. It's going to actually have a negative effect, because you're going to be looking at that and saying, well, it's not true. And you're sending out the wrong vibration. You're sending out the wrong emotion. You're going on a downward spiral because you say, oh, no, it's not true. You know, I can't believe that. Because I can't believe that, then you're really reinforcing the absence of a slender, happy, slender body. Now, how do we change that? Well, here, okay, the next point here is that law of attraction responds to how you feel about what you say and how you feel about what you think. So it's thoughts and emotions. So your thoughts are the way you're driving your life, the way you're driving your attraction, but it's how you feel. The feeling is like the power or the impetus, the push that moves it forward. So what you have to do, we have to reword affirmations to make them feel better. So when they're feeling better, then they actually start to work. So one easy way to do that is to say this: I'm in the process of. Okay, so if you've got something like somebody says, you know, I have happy family relationships, but you don't have happy family relationships, but you're not happy with it, then you say, well, I'm in the process of creating ideal family relationships. I'm in the process of enjoying my body more and more. I'm in the process of becoming more abundant. Okay, so this is a very helpful way, a very useful way of changing those affirmations. You've still got the goal in mind, but you're not bringing in the negativity. Now, Abraham Hicks is going to talk about going more general, and that's very, very true too. So when you say I'm in the process of, you're not being specific. You're saying, well, it's happening. You know, you're not. Yeah, you're not sort of. Yeah, you're not labeling something. It has to be this. I have to have a happy, slender body. I have to be abundant. You say I'm in the process of it. So it's a good way to become more general. Now, from this, the next tool that he's got here is what's called the desire statement tool. Okay, so there's three elements. There's the opening sentence, the body, which comes from the clarity through contrast list, and the closing sentence. Okay, so the opening sentence is, I'm in the process of attracting all that I need to do, know, or have to attract my ideal desire. So attract my ideal mate, attract abundance into my life, attract health, attract whatever it is you want. And you can then make desire statements that actually reflect the truth, or they reflect things in a way that you can accept, that you can take on board. So you can say here, I love knowing that my ideal partner lives in the same city as me. I love it. I love how it feels when I connect with people, or I've decided I'm going to spend more time working on my abundance. So all these phrases here, more and more, it excites me. I love the idea of, I'm excited at the thought of, I love seeing myself doing whatever. So I love knowing that my ideal partner lives in my city. I love how it feels when I'm doing a bank deposit for my business. I'm excited at the thought of traveling with my ideal mate. I love the idea of having a full client base. I love seeing myself making healthy food choices. So that is a way to go a bit more general and to make statements that your subconscious can accept and take on board easily. Okay, because you don't have resistance. Okay, so Abraham Hicks is always talking about non-resistant thought. So your work, as Karen was talking about before, the work is to change your thoughts and to move to non-resistance, to find ways to become non-resistant about what you want.
Okay. Interruption for a second.
Yep.
When an affirmation clicks, turn it to an appreciation.
Yep.
Bottom line, I will give a quick example. You may affirm, money flows freely to me. Money flows freely to me. And when money flows freely to you, turn it to an appreciation. I appreciate that money flows freely to me. I love affirmations, but I love turning affirmations to appreciations. I'm sorry, Brent, I had to interrupt you on that, but I'll let you continue.
Yep. Oh, thanks for that, Jonathan. That's exactly right. So you can have those sentences before you say, I'm in the process of, or more and more, this is happening in my life, or I love knowing that my ideal, whatever it is. And appreciate is another word you can say there. I often say to myself, I love and appreciate happy, harmonious relationships. When like I say, somebody starts, I don't know, criticizing me or saying something, I might say, well, I don't have to say it out loud, but just in my mind, I have to activate that vibration. So, well, thanks for the update. And I love and appreciate happy, harmonious relationships between people. And, you know, the more that happens, the more you activate that in your vibrational bubble or in the vibration that you're giving out, and the more that that's going to happen, more the law of attraction is going to bring that to your life. And it can't be any other way. You know, the law of attraction is going to bring to you what you have active in your life, in your vibration. And so appreciation is a great way to do it. So the third part of the desire statement is, whoops, make it a bit small. Is this one the closing sentence? Closing statement. There we go. Here. This is a good way to finish off. You know, I love and appreciate harmonious relationships between people. And then you can say this to yourself: the law of attraction is unfolding and orchestrating all that needs to happen to bring me my desire. And that's it. You can leave it like that. As Abraham Hicks says, leave it in the hands of the fairies of the universe, or whatever the exact phrase is. But this is kind of a way, you have your opening sentence saying, giving clarity of what you want. Then you have your body, which is reinforcing those characteristics, reinforcing how it is, or the things that you appreciate, as Jonathan was saying. And then you close, you have a bit of a sandwich, you close off, and you say, law of attraction is unfolding and orchestrating all that needs to happen to bring me my desire. And trust in that. Just let it go at that. Okay. So yeah, that's step 2. We sort of touched on that last week, but just to recap, whatever you're giving out is for a better image or a better word, let's call it a vibrational bubble, and it contains, or it has your vibrations. Now it's changing all the time. It's changing constantly from second to second. As you change your thought, it will change too. So the idea is to try and choose better thoughts and try and clean out this vibrational bubble and get it vibrating in the frequency that you want, to attracting the things that you want. So if you have some desire, have some new desire or something you desire, get clarity, and then reinforce it. Keep thinking that better thought. Keep focusing on that and include it in your current vibrational bubble. Use this desire statement. Make some clear statement, clear about what you want, the opening sentence. Then the body, I love knowing that, or I appreciate this, or whatever it is, and talk about the characteristics you want. And then you say, and I know that law of attraction is unfolding and orchestrating the universe so that everything I need will bring me my desire. Any point, comment, question? No? Okay, let's move on.
Vocal enough.
Okay, yep, let's move on very quickly. Now, step 3. Step 3 is the allowing step. Now, this step is probably one of the hardest, or the least understood, the most misunderstood part, because people say, how do you allow? How do you let something, I know what I want, and I'm giving it this positive attention, and I want it to come into my life, and I've given it over to law of attraction. Now what? How do I get it? How do I get it into my life? How do I allow it? Because allowing sounds very passive. It's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just allowing. Of course, it's not. You've got to actively allow. So we've got to understand what is allowing. So for Michael J. Losier, his definition of allowing is this: allowing is the absence of negative vibration. It's the absence of doubt. So what he's saying here is that when you can clear your vibrational bubble, when you can get rid of the negative vibrations, when you can get rid of doubt, then you can start to allow. Because allowing, it's a bit like Abraham Hicks says, when you hold a cork underwater and you stop, you get rid of the resistant thought, you let it go, it'll bob back up by itself. So it happens by itself. So when you can hear yourself saying things like this. What a relief. You know, maybe I can have this, or now this feels possible. Then that's when you know that you're starting to move into this allowing phase. Okay. Here's the example. It's a very good example that he gives to talk about or to illustrate what allowing is. I don't know what this game's called. I don't know if anybody knows. It's a game where you've got this clear cylinder and you've got some marbles sitting on top of some sticks. And so he says the sticks represent doubt, the resistance that you have. The marbles on the top represent your desire, what you want. And the ones that have fallen through represent your allowing, or that's the manifestation. That's the result. So if you have a strong desire, if you have a lot of marbles on the top with strong doubt, with a lot of sticks holding them up, then your desire will not manifest. Okay, and this is what Abraham Hicks is calling split energy. You've got I want this, but you're saying, well, but this and this is because of all these problems. Okay, when you have, it says here, when you have strong desire with just a little bit of doubt, this means your desire will come, though slowly. So it will slowly trickle through, slowly drop down. When you have strong desire with no doubt, it means your desire will be manifested quickly. Okay, so if you can remove the resistance, then the manifestation has to come. Okay, so he's got this illustration here. You've got all these people, all these happy people saying, "Wow, lottery tickets, great, fantastic," but they're all thinking thoughts. I don't know if you can see this. This guy saying, "I never win anything." This woman's saying, "I've wasted money on lotteries for years." She says, "Nobody in my family ever wins." She's saying, well, she's thinking, someone in the biggest city always wins. Now, the guy who was on a few weeks ago, Mr. Manifestation, about a month ago, it's great to see him putting up his scratchy tickets. He's always winning because he always expects to. He's always expects to win, so he does win.
And he has joined us tonight.
Right. Yes. Mark, no, Stephen, that's right. So yeah, you can tell us. I'm sure this is true about lotteries, yes?
It's true about lotteries, sweepstakes, contests. I mean, I win a lot more than most people, and it's because when I enter or I buy a scratch ticket, I already believe I'm gonna win. So you're exactly right. That's a huge difference between somebody that buys a ticket and thinks they're not gonna win, or they're like, oh, it would be great to win, but I always lose on these tickets. They're most likely gonna lose. And some people think I'm the luckiest person, but I'm really not. It's just, I believe it a lot more than a lot of other people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good. That's right.
I was just like this. It's not the case of the size of the win. It's a case of the win.
Is that what you tell your women? Just kidding.
I'm happy single because I haven't found the vibrational match yet.
Yeah. I am too. I'm not dating anybody. It's hard. It's hard when you're up here. Right, Jonathan? When you're up here in a different vibration, it is harder to match with somebody that you're aligned to than when you were maybe 5-10 years ago when you were at a lower point.
Except for that's a belief too.
We need to start a dating site, a law of attraction dating site. I think it would really take off.
Yeah, but it's lonely on the leading edge.
Which is a
Yeah.
whole day.
Yeah.
What are you doing after
Oh,
this?
I got it. I will run the dating site and help people understand that it's just the belief that the loneliness that you, it's just a belief because you think it's hard, but it's not hard. Like when you're a vibrational match, like people just come and want to date you. From my experience.
I guess
There
I'm
you
not
go.
as smooth as you. I don't know.
But you want to believe that. I mean, you want to
Wait.
put that out there, that there are a lot of people that
Yeah,
will
you want to
match up
change your
with
belief.
you.
Yes, that.
Probably, yeah.
What Karen's saying. Yes, you want to put it out there that you believe that there's so many vibrational matches. So like one of them will find you. You know, something like that.
And here we are. We're a match.
She stroke he is
Whoa, whoa,
vibrational
whoa.
match to me, but there is a
Jonathan,
country.
Jonathan, she's my vibrational match. Okay, you need to back off a little bit. Give us some vibrational space here.
I'm in vibrational space.
You know, let's just see what happens after this is over, you know?
Okay, we've had a bit
So I'm
of
just asking,
patch
who has
of
in their
water
who has in their
saying.
vibration the desire to have a couple people fighting over them?
Somebody apparently does.
We gotta take
Just
numbers.
saying.
That's why we need a dating site. Mark, you need to create a law of attraction dating site.
I've talked
Which
to him
Mark?
about this. Oh, you mean Mark
Mark
Combs?
B or Mark Tom?
Probably you.
I found mine. That's it was something that should be said though. You know, if you want to attract something that you want, then there's this little thing about liking who you are, liking yourself, really appreciating who you are. And Stephen, you got that. You obviously had that. Stephen was our speaker here, whatever, some weeks ago. And one thing that Steve knows that he's
Yes.
cool. He knows that he's funny. He knows
Thank
that
you.
he's a manifester. He knows that he is that. So
Kiss it.
and yeah, so kiss your hand. There you go. Kiss your own hand. There you go. Pat yourself on the back. And you attract. You know, it worked. It worked for me. Look what I got. You know, Karen right over there. I mean,
Look at that.
it works.
Love at first sight or what? What are we looking at here?
What's that?
Was it love
Karen
at
and I-
first sight or what? What are we looking at?
Mark was married to a friend of mine at the time, so no, it wasn't on his part.
Whoa.
He was married to
and-
my friend.
And she beat up my wife at the time. She beat her up, locked her up, made her go away.
No, I don't do that.
Mark is mine.
Karen, we're
not the
seeing a
story.
whole
That
new
doesn't sound like
side of
Karen at
you.
all.
That is
Karen,
not
we're
the
seeing
story.
a whole new side of you we haven't seen before.
Oh,
No,
my goodness.
that was not the story. The story is very interesting. We'll have to give it some time when
We got an
Stephen and
hour.
when Stephen and Charisma start that dating site, we'll tell our story.
What do you think we're doing after this?
We
Right.
have had fun here.
What her and I do after our Zoom meeting's up to us, guys, okay?
Let me have more to say.
There
We're
you
a
go.
vibrational match.
Go for it. Brent, you want the chair
Yeah.
back or what?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to grab the talking stick or something, whatever it is. But yeah, look, I think these are all really, really good points. Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about before, you know, if you want to include it in your vibrational bubble, if you want to start giving off that vibration, giving off that energy, then start to change your words and say, you know, I love knowing that, you know, my ideal partner is just around the corner, or, you know, I more and more I'm moving towards clarity on how I'll meet that person, or what type of person that is. And the thing is also that you don't know what the universe is going to give you. Lots of different things. It's not going to give you, you know, a 6-foot-tall supermodel, or whatever.
How do you know?
It can be.
It's possible.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Stephen, but it might.
It might.
Yeah, it very, very well could happen. But
I got me a 5-foot supermodel.
I mean, I'm happy with an 8-star. You know what I mean? I don't need 10 out of 10, guys. 7
Yeah.
out of 10, 8 out of 10. 6.5 if she likes buffets, Chinese buffet and stuff like that. I'm good.
No, I think I must have I really do like myself. I always have. I'm one of those people.
Cheers.
But I was really, really, really loving myself, because I definitely got a 10 out of 10.
Wow. I think
For
we should all
sure.
clap for this. Should all be clapping.
Karen.
Come on, Jonathan. We're all winners tonight. We are all winners.
And before I hand this back to Brent, I think that, Karen, we should schedule with Steve and others, but maybe schedule one of our Zooms here to talk about relationships and whatever, something like that. Maybe schedule something, and how to find a mate, or whatever. Steve and you and Steve play around with that maybe idea. I started off with that. Your dating site could be, but anyway, maybe one week we could talk with that subject, and Steve, and maybe you could lead it, Steve.
Mark, what if you select 10 women from the Abraham Fun Group and I have to interview them, and you guys have to
Like
tell,
speed dating, law of attraction, speed dating.
Yes, it will be like speed dating. And the audience will get to decide who I should have a Zoom date with. I
There
think
you
you're
go.
onto something.
All right, so scheduling, maybe it's speed dating,
Sounds fun.
Next week.
Abraham Fun, or law of attraction, speed dating with
Let's do it.
Mr. Manifester.
Copyright that.
Fun. That could be really fun.
I like the idea of law of attraction, speed dating.
I do
like it.
too. I do too. Isn't it
There you
nifty?
go. It's fun.
Oh, this should be fun.
Yep. I'm gonna date Karen first. I'm just kidding. Karen, where are we going? Let's go to the beach or something, Let's go to the movies.
You're good, Steve, but you're not that good.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
It would be like Applebee's 2 for $20, We got to think of more my style.
All right, Brent, you
Oh,
you want the chair back?
Over to you, Brent.
Hey,
Yeah,
I love
okay.
Applebee's.
Look, I think that's a
It's
great
good.
idea. All these things, these
Sure.
ideas come up, and that's how things are manifested. It's co-creation at its best. Abraham matchmaking could work. Start a new page, new group, probably would work. But yeah, as long as once you get clarity about it, you put the idea out there, then yeah, then it can start to manifest. If you have no clarity, if you don't know what you want, if you don't, you're not focused, your energy is split, then it's not gonna happen. Now, the thing is also about relationships is that people would say, well, I'm not vibrating at the same level as my partner, or the people around me, and I'm going to leave them behind. If you're in alignment, if you're setting the tone, if you've got the power, one person in alignment is more powerful than a million who are not, or whatever the quote is exactly. You can actually start to, as we talked before on this group, you can start to nudge, you can start to move the conversation, start to move the energy towards more in alignment with what you want. So it's all about rendezvousing. What are you rendezvousing with? You're rendezvousing with the right partner, yes, okay. You're attracting that, but also you're rendezvousing with the certain aspects of the people around you. Okay, and that's in that way the universe might surprise you. You know, people might surprise you, and you just never know what's out there. So it comes back to this idea of, to come back to what we were talking about before, this idea of allowing. What are you allowing in your life? And so how are you, like that illustration of the game with the marbles and the sticks, how much are you removing those sticks? How much are you taking out resisted thought? And the more you do that, the more that you can allow, the more that law of attraction can start to manifest these things in your life. So what the book is what Michael J. Losier is talking about is that doubt is probably the biggest thing that will create resisted thought. Okay, he calls them limiting beliefs. Okay, so a limiting belief is, well, as Abraham Hicks says, a belief is just the thought that you keep thinking. You think it over and over and over, and it becomes your belief. And if you start to buy into, or if you start to reinforce a negative thought or a negative vibration, then that's what you're going to keep repeating and keep giving out, even if it's subconsciously. Now, for example, if you have the phrase, I have to work hard to make money, that actually in itself, that implies a vibration of lack. I don't have the money. I have to work hard. I have to go out and hustle, and I have to go out and, you know, really try to get that money. So that idea of you have to work hard to get money actually keeps you from money. It keeps you from what you want. You know, if you have an idea, it's hard to meet people, you know, of the same vibration, then that's going to happen. You know, you're not going to meet like-minded people because you're giving that vibration out. So the book is talking about how do we identify our limiting beliefs, and the easiest way to do it, a sort of a rule of thumb, is to say, if you find yourself saying something like, I can't do this because, then that's when you've started to touch on a limiting belief. Now, the examples that they give here, I'll just click the buttons here just a second. Okay, some examples here. He says, I'd like to write a book, but I can't because I don't have a university degree. I'd like to start my own business, but I can't because I'm too old. I'd like to have a more slender body. It should be slenderer. I'd like to have a more slender body, but it's so hard because everyone in my family is overweight. I'd like to have an ideal mate, but I can't because I'm too fat, too old, too shy, or whatever. Okay. So when you start to touch on those things, you know, I can't because, that's when you're starting to touch on a limiting belief. Okay. And so everybody's different. I mean, there are a lot of very, very common shared limiting beliefs, you know, and one of them, you know, we get taught them from a very, very early age. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's one you hear all the time. And so everybody's got this idea, oh, you've got to go out and work hard for your money, you know. But as Abraham Hicks will tell us, you know, there is nothing but a stream of well-being, financial well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, relationship well-being. There's nothing but that. You've got to tap into it. And the way you do that is to stop pinching yourself off, stop the resistance, get rid of resistant thought. So, and the way you do that is to identify what your limiting beliefs are. Okay, so this idea of allowing, as I said, is really probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks for people. Allowing is just the absence of a negative vibration. It's the absence of doubt. Okay, and because doubt creates limiting beliefs. Simple as that. You know, you can't do something because you limit yourself. You say, oh, I'd like to start a business, but I don't have the skills, or I don't have the confidence, or whatever it is, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so as soon as you change that, then you can start to get rid of that resistance. Now, how do you do that? How do you get rid of these ingrained limiting beliefs? Well, you identify them first thing, and you look for times when you're saying, I can't do that because, okay? And then you have what he calls an allowing statement. He's talking about clarity through contrast statements, which gives you what he calls a desire statement. You get clarity, and then you know what you want. And as Abraham Hicks says, when you know what you don't want, then you know what you do want. And that's a big step. Most people are creating things unconsciously, and so they're not really aware of what they want. They've got a vague idea of what they don't want, or often a very clear idea, and then they have some vague idea of, oh yeah, I'd like more money, or I'd like, the perfect ideal mate, but they don't really have clarity on what that means. So clarity through contrast, get your desire worked out. Step 1 and step 2. Step 3 is allowing it. Now, he has what's called an allowing statement. And I'll just click the buttons here for a second. Share the screen. Okay. So if you're taking notes, it's a good time. How do you write your allowing statement? It's simple. Start by asking yourself, is there anyone currently doing what you want to do, or having what you want? If so, then how many people have been doing this today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year? Write your statement in general terms in the third person. Go general, because making your reference to yourself may create doubt, and ensure that the statements are plausible. Okay. Now, if there's one person in the world you can't fool, it's yourself. You can't fool yourself. If you don't believe something, then you don't believe it. Okay. So make sure that it's plausible for you. And that's when we're coming back to this idea of affirmations. When you have some affirmation that you can't believe, then it becomes counterproductive. So let's have a look at the examples here. He says, this one, I'd like to have a slenderer, not more slender body, but I can't because all my family members are big. Here's the question. Is there anyone on the planet who has a different body size than other members of their family? Answer, yes, obviously. If so, how many people have this today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year? Then you produce your allowing statement. Thousands of people, even in my neighborhood, have different body sizes than their family members. There are millions of men on the planet who have a more slender body than their father or brother. Okay, so this is in third person. It's not making a reference to yourself. Next one, let's do the next example. I'd like to start my own business, but I can't because I'm 50 years old. Question, is there anyone my age on the planet who has started their own business? Answer, yes. If so, how many people have been doing this today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year? Allowing statement. Right now, there are hundreds of people in their 50s who are starting and running successful business. There are millions of 50-year-old plus successful business owners. Okay, so here the key is go general and make it plausible. Because as I say, it's one person you can't fool, it's yourself. If you don't believe it, then you don't believe it. But you can believe something that is more general. Okay. So once you've identified your limiting belief, you've come across this sentence, I can't do this because whatever. then you can come back and you can say, well, are there other people? Put it in the third person. You know, there are other people who are doing this. You know, I've heard of this guy, the guy who wrote the book "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff." He didn't write that until he was like 57 or something, 58. Colonel Sanders didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 60s or mid 60s or something like that. So, you know, this whole idea of, you know, I can't start a business because I'm too old is it's not true. Well, it's, you know, and if you can accept those things, if you can accept those examples, then it becomes plausible for you. And once it becomes plausible for you, then that gives you something to grab hold of. You start reinforcing that. You start vibrating at that level, and you start that virtuous circle. The better it gets, the better it gets. Okay, so this is, yeah. Let's have a look here. Unless somebody got some question or comment quickly. No.
I just have a comment. Remember when you were little kids? I'm assuming everybody's like me. When I was a little kid, I could watch TV and see Mickey Mantle hit and play baseball. There's no doubt in my mind that I could be that because somebody's doing it. I could do it. I remember that thought when I was a little kid. He's doing it, so I can do it. And as a little kid, we didn't have these things that make us think the other way. Like we can't because. So maybe just play around and remember how you felt when you were maybe 6 or 8 and think about seeing a ballerina doing some dancing or, you know, whatever. For me, it was always sports. O.J. Simpson, I could, you know, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't talk about him, but but you know, your sports heroes, and if they could do it, I could do it. And so, you know, go back to that. That'd be kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, yeah, I suppose unless you want to go on a low-speed car chase, then maybe not O.J. Simpson, but
guys, the glove didn't fit. Okay, let's move on. He couldn't put the glove on. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if it doesn't fit, don't commit.
It doesn't fit, even though he could have stretched it out more, but he made it look like the glove wasn't going to fit. So it was all an illusion.
Yeah. So let's have a quick look here. We're talking about relationships before. Look, here are some allowing statements for relationships.
All right, slow this one down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
This is the one I need to focus on, guys. I got the money down. I got the job down, the winning down. It's relationships. I'm listening. Sorry.
Food.
So here are some ideas. An allowing statement. Hundreds of people met their ideal partner last month. Thousands of people are on their first dates with a person who will become their lifelong partner. Hundreds of thousands of couples are enjoying each other's company today. Millions of couples are in their ideal relationship. Every day, more and more people are attracting their ideal partners. Millions of couples are doing social activities together that include traveling and vacations. Hundreds of thousands of couples will go dancing this week. So all those, it's easy to accept. It's plausible. Once you can start, you know, looking at that and reinforcing that, keep on focusing on that, give your energy to those type of statements, then it's going to get into your vibrational bubble. It's going to be the vibration that you're giving out, and it's got to come true. You know, there's no two ways about it. You'll start to attract those sort of opportunities to, you know, find relationships like that, and it'll come up in surprising ways. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the way you think, but it will come up. It will happen in your life. So you can do it, as I said before. Look, I'll just quickly click all the buttons again. Click, click, click. Here we are. We've got one for financial situations. Millions of people are receiving checks today. Every day, billions of dollars are moved from bank account to bank account. Someone just received a check this minute. You know, all these things about, you can do it about relationships, finances, winning the lottery, as Steve will tell us, and health and career, writing a book, or whatever it is you want to do. So you've got to basically stop beating yourself up. Stop saying, I can't because. Start saying, well, they're doing it. You know, Mickey Mantle was hitting home runs. I don't know what his average was, but pretty good, pretty high. You know, he did it. Why not me? Or, you know, so yeah, as Mark was saying, you know, it's when you're young, you don't have that resistance. You know, you haven't got that conditioning. You haven't got all those layers of negative thoughts on top. So, you know, as the saying goes, you know, you have to see the world through the eyes of a child. You know, you have back to that sort of innocent, non-resistant state, and then you can start to get into the vortex. Then you can start to take action.
Back onto
Yeah.
relationships for a moment, and I usually drop to Karen when it comes for Abraham quotes and everything. But I do believe Abraham would say in relationships, on your way to find the one, what you will want to call the one, don't stop having fun. For every relationship that doesn't necessarily blossom, it is just a step to the one that will blossom. Many a workshop, it has been said, Karen, paraphrased.
Yeah.
Brent, there's
Yeah. So
a question
so a
by
little bit.
I like it, where you might want to fit that in or not. Not sure.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yep. I was just getting the next
Yeah, whenever you want to fit it in.
screen share ready. Here we go. Can I move that? Yeah. Okay, great. Here we have it for people taking notes. How to create your own allowing statement. Okay, so as it says here, you got to find these places where you're saying, I can't have that because, or that won't happen to me because. When you start finding things like that, that's when you know that you're onto a limiting belief, and that's where you know this is where the work is. This is, as Karen was saying before, you know, you got to, the work's on yourself. You know, you got to start working on yourself. So here there's 3 steps. First step here is uncover the doubt. Okay, so think of those questions. Think of the not the questions, these statements. I can't have that because, that won't happen to me because. Okay, so the example they have here is, if your desire statement says that your ideal job allows you to work a 4-day week, and you hear a little voice inside you saying that'll never happen because, then you jot down your doubt. You know, I can't work a 4-day week because my boss will never let that happen. Well, write that down. You know, why would your boss not let it happen? Or, you know, I can't work a 4-day week because I don't get paid enough. You know, I need to work 5 days to get enough money, or whatever it is. Those are your doubts. Those are your limiting beliefs. If you believe those things, they're always going to stop you. Okay, so once you've done that, once you've uncovered the doubt, then ask yourself these questions. Okay, so you start by asking yourself, is there anyone currently doing what you want to do or having what you want to have? Is there any other people currently working 4 days a week and getting enough money? Yeah, sure. There are lots. There's some people working 1 day a week and getting loads of money. Some people working 0 days a week and getting lots of money. So, you know, how many people are doing this today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year? There are a lot of people doing it all the time. So go general. Okay, so that's the 3rd step, is write in general terms. Okay, so write your statements in general terms, because making reference to yourself often creates more doubt. But here's the big key, as I keep saying, ensure that that the statements are plausible. Okay, you're not going to, if you write a statement saying, I'm going to become the greatest Quidditch player because Harry Potter can fly on a magic broom, then you're not going to believe it. It's not going to be plausible to you. Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice story, but yeah, make sure that you base it in reality for yourself. Because yeah, if you don't believe it, if it's not plausible for you, then you're not going to get on board with it emotionally. And if you're not on board with it emotionally, then you don't have that impetus, that push, that power behind it. It's just going to be so many words, okay, and it's going to be like an empty affirmation. Okay, so yeah, this is the process. These are the 3 steps, and there are many law of attraction processes out there, and many different ways of doing these things. But this is a big one, I think, because, as I said before, probably the biggest challenge or the biggest problem that people have is with law of attraction is, how do I allow? What is the art of allowing? Okay, and when you can start to work away at that resistance, drop those limiting beliefs, you can start to see, wow, this makes sense. This is plausible to me. And you can feel yourself saying, yeah, this feels much better. This feels like it should be. This is what should happen. And once you start doing that, then the second thing is you'll start to see manifestations. You'll start to see evidence of this in your life. And when you see that evidence in your life, then you say, yes, that's supporting my position. And the more that you can see how getting rid of resistant thought is working in your life, the more you can see those manifestations, then you can agree with the evidence, you can say it's plausible, and then law of attraction will give you more. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, and you start spiraling upward. Okay, so when you see that evidence, then you start to celebrate. Now, as I said before, I was telling a little story about the constipated baby and in the hospital. Sometimes you celebrate the poo. Sometimes you say, wow, that's evidence of something moving forward, and it's getting better, even though it's a negative result, or it's something that people might not want. Sorry, yeah. No, I thought no comment. No.
You keep going back to this poo reference and everything. Just
Sorry?
remember, you keep going back to the poo reference, Brent. And I've got a good analogy here. You sprinkle manure on roses, just see how well they bloom. Source answer.
That's right. So, yeah, and to us, manure is terrible, but to the earthworm, it's fantastic. So it depends on how you look at it, what perspective you've got. So from the eyes of source, it's all good, all is well, everything's working out for me. So celebrate the evidence, and something that's a very useful tool is also to record, to write it down, take notes. Great. And you can say, well, this happened, and this shows that I was, as Stephen shows us with, he's got the scratchies. Here's a win, fantastic. And a lot of people have got lots of evidence of law of attraction. And coming back to the word that Jonathan was saying, appreciation. Appreciate. Wow, this is going right in my life. Celebrate, record, or notice, or note it down, appreciate it. Okay. And even if it's a small step, you can say to yourself, wow, I'm in the process of, I'm in the process of creating abundance for myself. I'm in the process of moving towards that ideal relationship. I'm in the process of creating a better body or perfect health or my ideal body weight or whatever it is. There's the game, the Abraham Hicks game of what if, what if this, rather than saying, what if this negative thing happens, we'll say, what if this positive thing happens? What if I do win that lottery? What if I do find that ideal mate? What if I do, what if I do have the results that I want? And you start to activate that that energy in your vibration. It's like we were talking before about expectation. And Abraham Hicks will say that the reason that we see a lot of the same movie stars in all the big movies is not that they're great actors or that they are in high demand. It's basically that they expect to get the jobs, they expect to get the roles, and they do. So there'll be a sort of a circle or an upper echelon of actors who will always land those big roles because they expect to land the big roles. And the better it gets, the better it gets.
I was gonna say, Brent, I don't want to cut you off because I gotta leave soon, but also like I post a lot of the bigger wins. I don't post all the free tickets I win or like the dollar winning. Even though when I win, I always thank the universe and I get all excited and whoever I'm around thinks I won like $1,000 and here it's like a free ticket and I'm like thanking the universe and I'm getting all excited over a free ticket or like $10. But you gotta kind of celebrate and be thankful for not just the big wins, but the small wins. Just like you're talking about, sometimes it's not the huge manifest. It could be something so small, like a parking spot, or somebody giving you free coffee or opening the door for you. I think people forget that sometimes, not to be thankful for all the small stuff too.
Yeah, and I'm going to interrupt as well, and he won't say it himself. Stephen, you were so thankful for the small wins that when a 60,000, I do believe it was $60,000 came through, and it's all because you're so thankful for the smaller wins.
Yeah, 60,000 was the biggest win so far, the biggest manifest. But like in the Abraham Fund, within the past couple months, within the past month or two, I've been posting all my not small wins, but like, enough to grab people's attention when they see, oh, he won 500 or he won 200. I'm just showing everyone, look, let's all celebrate, whoever's winning this group, let's just all celebrate it and be happy for each other because it really does raise a lot of people's vibes in the Abraham Fund group. I wish everyone, if they got a promotion or if they did something exciting or something happens, I wish everyone would post it because it's like it would multiplies. The energy multiplies because it motivates other people to start believing in their ability as well. Because I do get a lot of messages too, from people thanking me for the post, which at first was kind of strange, but now I'm just kind of used to it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's there's I saw a thing on I don't know if people see on Facebook Mind Valley. I don't know if you see that guy. What's his name? Lakshmi somebody. Anyway, he has this technique of he got it. It's a Japanese thing saying "arigato money." Thank you, money. So every time he spends some money, he gives something out. He says, thank you, money. Thank you for allowing me to buy this cup of coffee. Okay, and appreciate it. And even small things, the better it gets, the better it gets. As Jonathan has said before at one time, ask the universe to say, well, show me, if that was good, show me what can be better, you know. So show me the next best thing, show me something better, show me something better, and keep on going, keep on going. Now, I just noticed Palak has put a question here, is how can I anticipate results? My take on this would be, go general. Don't, as I was saying before, you know, you don't, if you're going to be very, very specific about something that you want, something you don't have, and you want it in your life, then go for the feeling, go for the quality of it. Don't go for the specifics. You know, don't, if you're looking for the ideal, your ideal partner, don't say, you know, it has to be that beautiful girl who works in the restaurant down, you know, on Main Street at number 42 Main Street. What, or you know, that handsome guy or whoever it is your object of desire. That might work. It might come out, but go for, you know, my ideal. You know, I love the idea that there are people out there, you know, going out dancing and dining and having a good time. You know, hundreds of thousands of people, of couples, are doing that every day. You know, I love that idea. So go general. Okay. So, you know, Palak is talking about an academic program. Yeah, look, it's great. I would say visualize the feeling of being in that program. Visualize, yeah, this is what it's like when I get there. This is what it's like to be studying and to be moving and to be improving myself and working towards my qualification or whatever it is. You might get into, you know, if it's that course or that degree or whatever it is, then you know, you might get into that, or you might get into something better. You know, the universe might push you towards something else that's even better than what you've got planned. So don't try not to limit the universe, because the universe knows what it's doing. Law of attraction knows what it's doing. So everything's working out for you. Everything's working out for me. So not getting what you want, as Abraham Hicks says, sometimes not getting what you want is getting, you know, moving you towards getting what you want, you know. There's lots of tools or processes. So as long as you're starting to change your thoughts, as long as you're starting to change your thinking and moving towards what you want. So get clarity. First step, clarity through contrast. Second step, you know, identify, you know, make a statement of what you desire. Identify, this is what I want. And then third step, allow it, move out of the way, let the universe take over. And there's the processes for that are celebration, you know, gratitude or appreciation. You can, there's, if you've read Ask and It Is Given, there's something like 24 processes in the back. A really good one is an attraction box. You know, you write, you have a little box and you write down on a slip of paper or whatever, you get a photo of what you want and you put it in your box. You know, this is what I want, and you can come back and look at it later, but it's in my box. I know it's in there, and that starts to activate that the quality of that thing in your life. So as long as you can look at it in a general way, then you can start to get rid of the resistance. You can start to get rid of the doubt. So get yourself a picture of the resort where you want to take a holiday, or the beach that you want to go swimming on. Put it in your attraction box, and then say, well, yeah, that's nice. You know, I like the quality of that. I like the feeling of that. You might not go to that exact hotel or that exact resort or that exact beach, but you'll go to something like it. It'll come up in your life, because when you can get rid of the doubt, then your desire can come even faster. Okay, so
Brent, I would like to see if we can get Palak to unmute. Maybe she can ask any other follow-up to that. There you go.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Brent and Mark. My question is, like, I'm not really resistingly stubborn about getting into that particular program, but it's something that I really want in the sense that it really makes my heart and my mind thrill. So that's the reason that I want it. And I don't think I'm resisting it. It's just, let's say I'm supposed to get the results out in April, and right now it's February. So sometimes I feel like I should think about it, or sometimes I'm like, no, I should just let it go. And, I know that I'm there and it's all good for me. So sometimes I, like oscillate between these two feelings. And then it sort of scares me, like, okay, if I'm thinking about it, that means am I trying so hard to manifest it? Like, it's just that my emotions sometimes, they oscillate a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say, yeah, as I was saying before, you've got to go general and look at the quality, look at the feeling of being in that course. So if you're going to do something, then obviously you've got to take steps, get into the vortex, get into alignment, and then take action, take inspired action. So obviously you've been doing that, and you've been studying and doing the requirements for the entrance, I'm sure. And it seems like you're already, you're at a stage where you've already done the hard work, you've done all the hard yards, and it's time to let go, or to leave it, let the fairies of the universe take over. So what I would say is, go general, but practice the feeling. And it's good that you're saying that you're not too committed, or not too attached to getting into that particular course or that one specific course. And that's probably very, very wise, because I think that a lot of the problems we have in our lives come from attachment. We get too attached. See, Anne-Marie, see you. We get too attached to certain results, and that's not the way it works. It works by going general and saying, I have a clear idea of my desire, and then let it go. Say, I like the quote I had before. It's very well put here. If I can find it, you've got to say to the universe, I trust the law of attraction, and I let go, and I trust the law of attraction is orchestrating everything that needs to happen to bring me my desire. Okay, so yeah, that's
I'd like to add something, if I might. Is that cool? Yes.
yeah. So
could I add something? Palak, do you know about the vibrational scale? The Abraham Hicks vibration scale? Do you know about that?
Yes, I'm aware of it. Yes.
Cool. I read at the end of your statement, it's about how do I simply anticipate acceptance into the program. Sounds like you want to get into the vibration level of expectation, which is number 4 on the list. Once you get if you could get wherever you're at, and recent Abe things have been Abe's been doing this, working your way up the vibration scale. And if you know this to be true, 2 things. One is everything always works out for me. Just to every day kind of play with that a little bit and try to grasp that belief a little bit more every day. And then the other thing is, know that if you get into the area of expectation on that subject, it's gone, it's done. It's just done. It is absolutely, positively done. All you got to do is get up to that area of expectation. So work your way up there. And if you think about that subject about getting into that program, I would say figure out where you're at on the vibrational scale. I mean, say some words about some things and say, where am I on the vibrational scale? I'm going to guess sometimes you dip as low as hope. But you feel good about it because you're expressing that you have some good feelings and excitement about it and all of that. But then when you get down to hope, then it's like, okay.
Yes.
And hope is like you're stepping a little. Hope is an area that years ago Abe described as 1 foot in the vortex and 1 foot out of the vortex. And every now and then you dip in there and you start seeing, like you want a car, you start seeing the car go by, and then so hope is a really nice place to be. But if you can and then figure out a way to say some things to yourself that work really good, like these examples that Brent's been talking about. How many other people have been in this program? I've been in programs like this, or whatever makes you feel like to move yourself, be aware of where you're at, say hope, or maybe just a little, whatever the next thing above hope is, and then say something to yourself that brings you a little bit higher and closer to expectation. And then once you get to expectation, you're like Steve scratching the ticket. That's it. When you're in expectation, Steve gets an expectation, he scratches the ticket, and it's a winner. Okay. And if it's not a winner, he's thinking, okay, maybe it was just a step down below the expectation, but it was fun anyway, or whatever. But I think you've got it based on the way you wrote and what you said in your statement. That I believe you know the process, and just be aware where you're at, and then nudge yourself up the vibrational scale into expectation, and know that it's going to happen when that happens. That or even something better. Who knows?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark and Brent. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine, go ahead. Please do. Yeah.
Can I add something really quick to that? Is that okay? So I was going to say about 5 years ago, when I made the decision to start teaching and become a college professor, I had applied for 2 different colleges, and I really wanted to work at both of them. And one I was actually leaning more towards than the other one, but the universe decided to attract the other one. And I found out later on that the other college that I really wanted to stay at ended up cutting back people. So in a way, even if you have your heart set on a specific school, I would apply at a couple different programs, because you never know. The universe, I feel like, is going to attract the best program, the best school for you. It's just your job to kind of like have fun with it, be positive, be happy, follow your passion, and just think of just trust the universe to give you the right opportunity at the right time. Because if I would have went to that other college, since I would have been in the last group that got hired, I probably would have lost my job within that 6-month time period. And the one that hired me, I'm still there, and it's been 5 years. So you really have to trust the universe. Still have fun, still visualize, still believe it's the right program. But I would recommend maybe the idea of looking at other colleges just as maybe a backup option that the universe, that you haven't even been open to see yet. And it might be a better opportunity in your path. Just an idea.
Yeah. May I please add something more?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. So I'm already in a college, I'm in grad school. The next step is what I feel I want is a fellowship, because that's what I think. I mean, I'm inclined towards that, and that's what I want. That's it. I have no other reason for it. So the thing about the backup option is that I haven't applied to any other program because I really want this one, not really, really desperately, but really, really because it's fun, because that is what I want. And literally after 3 years, this is the next step in my life, which really excites me. So I know that, this is what I want. I don't want any backup option.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, I'm not resisting it, but I just sometimes I get scared that maybe, in my ignorance, maybe I'm disallowing it, which is, I know, silly, but I just wanted to ask.
I'm
Does
timid.
anybody here have any doubts that Alec has it, that she's going to get that program? I mean, we're just like the
No
universe.
doubt.
When you heard her speak, did you feel like, oh man, there's no way I can keep this from her? If you had the power to give that to her, is there anything way you would put anything in her way? No, I think she's got it. But go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's great. You know, I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with having a plan B, or maybe it's not called a plan B, maybe another option, and let the universe decide which one's a better fit. If I would have only applied for the one college, eventually I would have got let go. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, it sounds like to me you already have it lined up, and if that's your path, then go for it. Don't let anybody stand in your way. But I'm just saying, for me, in that example, the college that I wasn't leaning towards as much was a better path for me. That's all I was saying. But I trusted the universe. You know, I trusted the universe to guide me in which direction.
And like, you know, whatever makes you feel good is the way you're going to get there fastest, right?
Yeah,
Without
have fun.
resistance.
We
Yeah.
should all be applauding
Yeah.
her, really, because we know
Yeah,
she's.
heck yeah.
I wanted to add something.
Thank you
We
so
should all
much,
turn our
everyone.
mics
Thank you.
on and clap.
I wanted to add something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, the way to increase the feeling of anticipation and expectation is to find ways to. Sorry, the cat is really hungry. The cat's meowing, distracting me. So it's like find ways to feel more excitement and passion, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about that specific subject, like going to that school. Just anything that helps you feel more passionate, more excited, will increase your anticipation and your positive expectation.
Oh yeah, Karen uses that all the
Yeah.
time, right, Karen?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Just enjoying life and having fun in general is actually going to help move you along to what you want. And it doesn't have to be on that particular subject, but that's so right, Charisma. You just, when you're enjoying yourself and having fun, you have got your valves completely open to receive what you truly want. So yeah, it can be on any subject in life. Just have as much fun and passion as you can find in any area, and it's going to bleed over. I don't know what it's going to affect all the other areas
Get
of
into
life.
alignment is what it does.
It gets you in
Yeah.
alignment.
Yes, it gets you into
That's it.
alignment.
It's alignment, that magic A word. Yep.
Yep.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, Brent, I'm gonna have to stop the recording. We're gonna leave it on Facebook Live, but I'm gonna end the recording. So don't anybody go anywhere.
Okay, I just last screen share.
Okay, go ahead.
This one here. The law of attraction is unfolding and orchestrating all that needs to happen to bring me my desire. Just a final thought to leave you with.
That is a really good affirmation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Brent. But don't let anybody go away. I'm just gonna start the recording. Yeah, the recording needs to be, not too much more than 2
It's a
hours.
lot
So.
of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, guys.
This is
What's that?
Karen. I'm Mark.
Hey, Brent, can I? Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Go ahead, John.
I will continue in a moment. But more.
Brent, I
Jonathan, I'm
was thinking.
still waiting for that Starbucks gift card I was promised.
Hang on. Is he pointing at me? And I will say this. 2 people did come to me and got $5 plus to go and get themselves a free coffee. And you said you didn't say anything. So, but I always have more than enough money. 2 people did come to
Only
me.
2 people responded.
Money for coffee. And Charisma will put it in there.
I attest
Be
that
paid
I
so
responded.
they could go and get their free coffee.
Jonathan,
Okay, so back
I got
off.
2 free coffees.
Jonathan,
Steve
me up.
You put me on the point, and I said, I'll take it up.
Wow.
She took me up. I said, here you are, $5 or whatever it is, PayPal. Get yourself a good free coffee. Okay? But that's the
But
thing.
you have to send Jonathan your PayPal email for him to do that.
I guess you have to be a woman to get the free cup of coffee, huh, Jonathan?
Scott, if you had sent it over, I would have honoured it. You put me on the spot,
Yep.
but I did honour it to the people. Reminds me, I owe Gloria $5 for whatever she wants because she don't drink coffee. Anyway.
Brent, before you get up, do you have that? There's something I was thinking about before I wanted to visualize. I think it's really cool. That picture of the game with the resistance sticks and the desire balls.
Yeah, look, I was going to say,
something that is available.
I was going to say, I suppose before the recording stopped, but anyway, now is okay too. I've made a video of this step 3. It actually takes a long time, a lot longer than I would think, but I'll put the link on. Well, when you put this this talk up, I'll put the link in the comments below, and it has all of this. It has all of this. Last week I put up 4 other links which covered the introduction and the other 2 steps. Yeah, so I've put it there basically so people can go back and look at it at their leisure. So it covers the whole. It's a bit like an audio book in a lot of ways, but they're in little sections. You know, one's 5 minutes, one's 10 minutes, one's 15, something like that. So you can go back. I can send you. I can just do a screenshot and paste it on there and in the comment box. But it's in this video, and it shows you that it goes through, and there's a nice Australian accent, a woman with an Australian accent describing it. So it's high quality.
My request is, do you have that picture that you could put up right now?
Right now,
I have a comment. Yeah, I'll comment about it. I want to leave somebody with leave this visual for people. A concept that I thought of when you had that.
Okay, just a second. This one.
My thought for this is there's balls that are desires, and then there's sticks that are resistance, and that the diagram goes on and shows you about less resistance and how you can manifest things. But I guess what a lot of us have a habit of doing when we have this situation where we have a strong desire, which means a whole lot of desire balls, and we have a lot of resistance on any particular subject. What a lot of times our first thing that we do is, what do? We reach in there and we take some balls off. We think that's the way to do this. We lessen our desires. We think that that's the way to go, when that's not the way to go. And if sometimes I wanted to have this visual for people to think about. Sometimes if you're doing that and you can think of this visual, like, am I removing my desires, lessening them, lightening them, desires? Or should I just work on removing, just pulling those little resistance sticks out, the doubt? So Brent said all that, but I just wanted to go back and see the visual, and so for people to be able to think about what they're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very good.
It is.
Can I just go backtrack a little bit and touch on a word that Palak said, and that was ignorance. But she said it in a very, very pertinent way, in a very useful way. She said ignorance. And this is, as I say, ignorance is bliss, which is true in many ways, but it's also ignorance. What do you choose to ignore? Okay, and so this is part of the work, part of the selection. You choose to ignore things that are causing resistance. Okay, you choose to ignore. You know, I can't do that because I'm too old, or I'm too fat, I'm too whatever, I'm not good enough. Ignore those things. You know, start to focus on the things that that do matter. Okay, and then you can start to tell yourself stories that are plausible, but then move up and up and up. So for Palak, you know, it's plausible that you might get into that course. You know, it's very, very plausible, and start to tell yourself that story. And you also, as Stephen was saying, you know, it might not turn out that way. You know, the universe might have something better for you. So, you know, there are other options, other fish in the sea. You know, it's never going to be 100% cut and dry. It's never going to be exactly this way or that way. You've always got to, you know, be open to different possibilities, and not get too attached to one possibility. Because, well, this is not Abraham Hicks, but this is what the Buddhists will say. You know, is that you know, life is suffering. They've got 4 precepts. Life is suffering. The root of suffering is desire. The way to get rid of it is to drop desire, or to drop attachment. You know, sorry, desire, not desire, attachment. The root of suffering is attachment. The way to get rid of suffering is to drop attachment. And then they say the way to do that is through the 4 noble truths, through the study of Buddhism. Now, that's not to say that they're saying don't desire things. What they're saying is don't be attached to desire. Don't say it must be this way. You know, because when you start to say things must be this way, it can only be this way, then you're attaching your happiness to the world out there. You know, and you know, then you're combing your hair, you're combing the mirror to fix your hair. You know, it's not going to happen. You know, so when you, if you're lucky enough to have some hair, but yeah, the thing is, yeah, don't become too attached to it. So you've got to, coming back to that word ignorance, you've got to know what to ignore, and you've got to know what to focus on. So it's up to you. But the universe will surprise you in many, many different ways. And coming back to that where is it? That quote I had here: the law of attraction is unfolding and orchestrating all that needs to happen to bring me my desire. Just let it go. It's all about letting go, active dropping things. You know, not efforting. You efforting, you know, trying to get things, trying to force things to happen. That's a recipe for unhappiness. But when you can let it drop and let the universe take over, let law of attraction unfold and orchestrate all that needs to happen, then it will bring you your desire. Sorry, I've said too much, I think. Everyone's stunned, shocked.
It's 10 o'clock, and typically Karen and I say that's enough. Now Karen and I get to play. You guys stay on if you want. I don't know, but Karen and I, we're going to go off and play. It's 10 o'clock. Okay. If you guys want to stick around and plan some dates or whatever you want to do.
What Charisma has just said.
You should go to Applebee's.
I'm going to have to check it. what Charisma just said in chat. You cannot make the mirror smile by frowning into it.
That's what I've learned. I cannot make the mirror smile by frowning into it.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. Good analogy.
Nice.
Yes.
that's right. That's I think that's Bashar says something similar to that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
Aaron Dottie was like, you can't change what's in the mirror by like trying to fix the mirror. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
I would just
So,
say
like,
this is a quick
I
analogy.
had to focus on my inner work, my inner healing work.
I was just about to say this as a quick analogy.
Hmm.
No matter who the teacher is, how often do we read someone? Wayne Dyer. Well, that was just a random one grabbed from my brain, perhaps. But we will read certain teachers and we will look at them and just think, goodness, that's what Abraham would have said.
Yeah. I do that with Bashar. Like, it's like Bashar says similar things to Abraham. Yeah.
I'll just share one more thing, if I may. Here, last
That's infinite intelligence.
last idea here. This one is from a different channel, a guy called Zingdad. This is a very good one. If you cannot see the perfection, then you're standing too close to the picture.
Hmm.
And I think that's true for a lot of us. When we get too involved, when we get too close, when we get too attached, we can't see that everything is working out for us. We can't see that there's only a stream of well-being. But when we get too caught up, get too close to it, too personal, then we start to take things personally, and we start to say, wow, we start to move into this victim state. So yeah, look, there's lots of different wisdom coming from lots of different channels and lots of different ways. So really, if it becomes true for you, it becomes your truth if it sits with what's the truth in your heart. So something sounds right to you because it resonates with you.
Resonates with
If it
your
doesn't
heart.
resonate with you, then
Yeah.
it doesn't sound right. So yeah, I think everybody's got to, you basically got to trust your own discernment in a lot of ways.
I'm going to say this quickly, and I've said it in so many other. I'm not just active in this group. There's a few other law of attraction and Abraham Hicks groups I am involved in. I am not totally anal, but I am all Abraham. There are other teachers who will say something, and if it resonates with me, I will listen. And 9 out of 10 times that I will listen and take it in, it's like Abraham has said that. Okay, I will say this so much. Abraham to Esther as Julius is to me. People will get that. I am complete.
Brent, I got to read you something. Okay, so I'm on Facebook Live. 2 things. One, Selena said, super helpful. Thanks. By the way, the game with the marbles and the sticks in a cylinder is called Kerplunk.
That's right, Kerplunk.
Kerplunk. Because Selena's a gamer. And Gil said, I was trying Abraham's head in the sand strategy. But after a while, I found I had my head in the cement and I felt all mixed up. Needed clarity. I was perhaps ignoring the things that mattered there, Brent.
Um, yeah, sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there on my end, but just a minute.
Let's try
Uh,
something.
Abraham Live. Come on.
I'm gonna try. Am I coming through?
Okay, yeah, that's a bit better. I can hear you now.
Better? Yeah, my earbuds must have been losing power or something. It was getting bad on my end too. So should I read it again?
Yeah, yes, if you could, please.
This is from Gil. I was trying Abraham's head in the sand strategy, but after a while I found I had my head in the cement and I felt all mixed up. Needed clarity. I was perhaps ignoring the things that mattered there, Brent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Head in the sand and head in the cement. Yeah, look, I think people can get stuck, and it's, look, I'll make. There's another Buddhist quote. Buddha says, "No one else can save us, and no one else has the right to," or something like that, or no one else may. So we've all got to work it out for ourselves. We've all got to trust our own discernment. But it's all a big orchestration. It's all co-creation. It's all working together. And Abraham Hicks is going to say, there's no healing. We don't do healing, but we have upliftment. We can lift each other up. And so when people resonate with something, it's because there's something in them that's asked for that. They've requested that. They've co-created that. They've, if anything I've said helped somebody, or anything from this book helped somebody, it's because they've drawn it forth. Same with Abraham Hicks. They chose Jerry and Esther because Jerry had all the questions. It wouldn't have come through without the questions. And so that's all part of the co-creation. It's all part of the unfolding. And we've got to trust that orchestration and that unfolding. It's going to happen, by itself. And we don't get too attached, not say it has to be this way, or it has to be that way. Just let it happen as it happens. And then, sometimes great things come along, and sometimes you have to celebrate the poo. That's my favorite thing for today, favorite saying. But yeah, sometimes you see the perfection. If you're standing too close to the picture and you don't see the perfection, that's because you're taking it too personally. You're too close to it. You've got to step back and say, wow, yeah, this is all happening for a reason. It's all unfolding as it should do, and trust that process.
I love that, and this just comes straight to my mind, where Esther and Jerry in the car, and suddenly Esther says to Jerry, they're on the interstate. This is the first time that Abraham spoke to Jerry extensively, where Esther, as she was, said to Jerry, pull off the interstate, and they were under a bridge or something, and the conversations between Jerry and Abraham became immense. I will not apologize for knowing a lot of Abraham materials and passing it on.
Okay.
As I've got the blooming yellow box around me on the screen, I am complete.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I gotta say I'm complete too. I gotta go. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for seeing
you.
everybody. Everybody there. See you
Thank
again next time.
Brent. Thank you,
so
Brent.
much, Brent.
Thanks
You
so
guys.
much. It was fabulous. And a real quick message from Dory. She had to go to bed early tonight. I had a busy week, but she sends her message of happy Valentine's Day to all of us and her love. So that's from Dory. I wanted to add that. Thank you. Wonderful evening, you guys.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thanks a million.
Pass on, Karen. Pass on to Dory. I know she's spoken for a rose and a kiss.
Rose and a kiss. Okay.
Give her a kiss, Jonathan.
If you want to, if you want to kiss Scott, you're welcome to it. I'm straight. I'm not scared to kiss a man.
Yeah.
To the webcam.
Fearlessness is awesome.
Jonathan, let's do it for Abraham.
As we all know.
That's nothing but love, guys. Okay, we have nothing to hide. I gotta go brush my teeth and rinse my mouth really quick. I'll be back in a minute.
Unconditional love, because Source has no gender.
Right. That is right.
That's true, but I still want to brush my teeth, okay?
Okay, go and do it.
You're
Good night,
smoking
guys.
and drinking,
Guys.
Jonathan. What do you expect?
Good night, guys and gals. You all have a leave button. I have an END button here. If I hit it, we're gone.
Thanks, guys. It was really fun. See you next week. We have a woman lined up for next week. So, but I'm really looking forward to having Brent back again and many times over. So thank you. This was so good.
You too, Steve.
Yeah. Thanks, Stephen.
Come back.
Thanks, Mark.
East is what my son would say. This is how he poses as
Those
well.
who are not willing to part with $47 for an Abraham broadcast, perhaps Julius may make an outing in the future.
Yes, it'd be wonderful.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
I have a better
We
chance
would
of getting
appreciate
a call
that.
from Jonathan, I think.
Good night, guys. For real.
Adios,
Everybody-
amigos.
Good night, Charisma. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good night, Karen. I'm glad I could make it.
Oh,
glad. I'm so
See you
glad.
at Applebee's. Her and I are going out to Applebee's after this.
Got it. Have
Good.
fun.
I will
Hi,
just say
Golly.
this quickly.